That is quite visually, like to see a group of that many men move together so perfectly, that was quite stunning. Hello and welcome back to our vlog. Today we are going to be talking about our production Dust. We are doing this because it's coming up on 2 years ago that we created the show and had this idea. So we're going to look at other dancers and choreographers that also used sand, powder, dust in their choreography and compare it to ours. So there was a video or two, I think it's two, about me reacting to the production Dust. So I was living in Beijing and choreographing in my tiny little apartment and sending videos back to my sister, who then put it all together, and then I watched and vlogged my reaction to the full show. And so you can check that out. We'll link it down below and you can give those a watch if you haven't already. So, are we ready to dig into our first video for the day?
Yes,
so
let's do it.
You found all of these for us, and the first one is called Turning Page. It is quite a long video, so we're just going to show you the snippets that are our favorite moments. I really like how they're playing between like reversing, so every and playing forward. Like for the sand aspect, the way that it moves going forward and going back, it's completely different. So it just gives this beautiful effect of when they're throwing the sand. And I wish we could have done things like that in Dust. It's just not possible when it's live. You can only throw so many ways. And also like, you know, camera angles and things like that. Whereas when it's live, it's face on, the camera's not going to move. Yeah. Whereas, you know, of course, this is recorded. They can have the camera moving right round. There is actually a section where you do see the cameras. Yes. Well, you don't see the camera, but it is definitely circling them. Yeah. So you know, it's different in that way. Yeah. This is done specifically for a video. Yes. So they've thought about the fact that they are recording and they've choreographed to that aspect. Also knowing that they're in the sand pit. You know, for us with Dust, we needed to have a way to have the sand move with us. And putting a sand pit on a stage wasn't really possible with where we were performing, because we had shows after us in the days that we were performing as part of the festival. So you've also got to think about cleanup, you know, stage crew. Also, they've got to make sure the stage is ready for the next person. So it's a completely different aspect. Yeah. But I do like how they're still throwing the sand and moving within the sand, similar to how we did, even though their whole setup is so different. But I do love the idea of being in the sand pit. I think it's very clever. Yes, same. I also. And then like you see their footprints and like when they kick the leg and it makes that line and you can see it so clearly. Okay, let's watch again. I would have known what I've been living for long. Oh, I love that moment of the sand like going through their hands. I think it's so pretty. But also a nice effect. Yeah. But also beautiful how they've leaned up against one another to throw that sand past the person. I think that's also quite beautiful. Yeah, it's quite a nice like image. Hey? Yes. And almost in a way, again, because they're recording, it looks like they were able to use like fans or a smoke machine or something that gave this beautiful misty effect. And again, it's not really that possible on a live stage like we did. You could have a fan backstage by all means, but it's things like keeping the equipment
working and stuff like that was a bit difficult.
Yeah, and like the lights, you know, they're right there, sort of at the edge of the stage. So we don't know what size, you know, room or area that they were recording this in, but they could have had the lights just like a little bit further back or top lighting, whereas with us on the stage it was side lighting, and this could, you know, having that kind of effect, which looked amazing in this video, it could not come off the same in a live setting.
Yeah, in terms of where the lighting is.
Yes,
definitely.
yes. Yeah. Okay, well, let's move on to the next one. It's a little clip from So You Think You Can Dance, and I think it's the top 10 guys, or the guys who've made it to the top 10, something like that. Again, we will link it down below and you can go and watch it. We just picked this part of the video.
Sure. That is quite visually, like, to see a group of that many men move together so perfectly, that was quite stunning.
And so accurate with the music. Like, the choreographer there did really, really well with like using the music.
Yes.
And throwing the sand like at that same time as the beats in the music. I thought that was really nice.
Yeah, choreographed really well, and I must say, like, it's a different style to us. So to see that, you know, we were contemporary and this is more hip hop, like, that's also cool to see that it's crossing genres. Like, it's not just contemporary dancers that want to do these new exciting things. And I do love how they had set up the powder again, completely different, not in a sandbox, but in little piles within the spotlights. And I think that's so clever, because then you've kind of you've got this layout within the format of the dancers, with, you know,
Yes, and then at some points you'll actually see that through the choreography, they move back to those piles to be able to use them again. So again, like, the choreography was really thought out and done really, really well. And even at one point, we're not going to show this part, but if you go and watch the video yourself, you'll see it. They actually like slide across so that they change piles, which is also really nice. Oh. So continuing with a different genre, we found a tap dancing piece. And I thought this was so interesting because the sound of the tap dancing even changes. So as we watch the video, you'll hear,
hopefully
hear what I was picking up on. So something, as I said, I love the different sounds, so hopefully you could hear that, fingers crossed.
Definitely more muted. Because I haven't done tap, I don't know as much as you do, but for me, that's what came across, is the sound wasn't as sharp and like pinging as tap normally sounds.
I also loved how the different movements created different shapes. So like when they scrape, you know, pull the foot back and draw a line, whereas when they just do like taps, they're just sort of disturbing that small area of the sand, whereas when they actually drag, they create this line. And I like that part of it. And that also reminded me with drawing the pictures. So we had the four seasons, and each person drew their own picture
with the powder, and the idea was to draw it while moving in a dance way. So that's very similar to what they've done here in the tap. Yeah, absolutely picked up on that.
So like that links. It's so cool how these ideas sort of like bleed through.
But also to see that you know, no matter how many times you think you come up with an original idea, somebody else has a very similar one. And so like it's nice to see that, you know, we're on the same track as other international dancers and coming up with similar things and sort of making something that's the same quality. I like that.
Yeah, and I like that our industry likes to explore and, you know, try different things. And it's not just one genre, as we said before. I think you said it. You know, we're contemporary. We've just watched contemporary, but we've also watched tap, and we've also watched a little bit of like a hip hop, you know, and so it's going through all of the genres. And, you know, I love that we like to create things.
Yeah.
Another thing that I love is my beautiful ballet t-shirt. I just love this t-shirt. It's such a nice t-shirt. I'm sorry, I know I'm like, you know, showing myself off a little bit, but I just love it.
For me, it was also so fun to find these videos. Like, you know, Dust was such a favorite of ours to create, and so it's so nice to like reminisce and look back and have that nostalgic feeling.
Yeah, you're right, it really is. Well, thank you for joining us on our reminiscing excursion.
Our journey.
Our journey to thinking back to Dust and celebrating the anniversary of our production. And we hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.